Welcome to Talk Design Podcast, the space where creativity meets conversation. I'm Adrian Ramsey, your host, and as someone deeply entrenched in the world of design, I'm thrilled to introduce you to the minds that inspire me in the hope that they will spark something special within you too. From a design past crafting women's swimwear to pushing the boundaries of performance sportswear, from mountaineering to international yachting, to implementing systematic innovation solutions that transcend boundaries in aerospace industry. My heart remains rooted in architecture, and exploring the emotional tapestry woven by built spaces is my fascination. My journey in design has been what can only be described as a life of design. I want to thank you for lending me your ears. I'm eager to embark on this next episode together. My guest on Talk Design today is Kassidy Warren. Now, Kassidy is from Seattle, and he is, let's just say, an investor, a podcaster, a developer, and a mentor. Like, this guy's got a lot going on. I found Kassidy on my friend Zeke Freeman's podcast, which is Radical Hospitality, and I was listening along to him and his wife on there, and I went, damn, these guys are sharp. These guys are really interesting. And I thought, I'm going to reach out, have a chat to him, and bring him to you guys so that you can actually sort of see these paths that there are. If you're an architect, interior designer, or anybody, how you can jump into the real estate investment market in the US and kind of listen to the path. So, Kassidy, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad that you reached out. And Zeke is a good friend of mine who is building his hotel outside of Red Rocks right now. And I'm excited to be doing something similar with a project that we're under contract on right now. But
Are you going to tell us about it?
I can tell you all about it. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And usually I don't talk about stuff when I'm early stage, but I'm in this new era of like, it doesn't matter. And I want to talk about it because it's like a big step forward into my vision and helping inspire others to live their purpose and go bigger and dream bigger and go create the thing that you want to go create despite what others might tell you. So I can tell you more about that, but I'm excited to be here.
Awesome, man. Well, I really appreciate your time. I want to kick off, tell us the sort of the origin story. You're born in Seattle and go from there, and then kind of land us somewhere where you grew up enough to actually make a few decisions about your life and where you were trying to go.
Well, I wouldn't say that I made a decision for myself truly until I decided to quit my job when I think I was around 30 years old. And I had done the traditional path of go to school, get good grades, go to college, get a career, get promoted. And the plan was to just kind of keep doing that, right? And climb the ladder. I have high achievement syndrome, or I like to create, I like to build things, but I went the traditional path and I was just looking for a salary and I was looking for additional income through my salary. I was saving in my 401k. I was doing everything that everybody told me to do. And I was in engineering. And so
Oh, okay.
that was a huge benefit to me. I've worked with other architects. I've worked with a ton of different engineers. I was managing like $50 million budgets, construction projects out in the field. I was building and building and building. It just wasn't for me. It was for somebody else, right? And I was having a ton of fun, especially in my early 20s. And then I started getting higher and higher up the chain in corporate America. And I started seeing how decisions were being made, how people treated themselves and others, and what my future was going to look like. And I didn't really like the way that it looked based on how much time and effort and energy was spent at the office with these types of meetings and these types of conversations. And it just wasn't the type of person that I was really interested in becoming or being surrounded with in that type of environment. And so at the same time, I was also just like burnt out, right? I
Yeah.
had been doing this for over a decade. And I'd been drinking too much, right? I'm 7.5 years sober now, and so that was part of it, right? The post college, wine and whiskey and all that was catching up with me quite a bit, and so I wasn't even allowed to really dream, and I needed space to do that. My wife and I needed space to do that, and so that was when we made the decision to quit our jobs and go live in our van And that van trip was really to just give us space to dream and be and just enjoy each other and enjoy the world. And so it was like the second day on the van trip that we decided that we were going to invest in short-term rentals, Airbnbs, and we wanted to own a bunch all over the world. Now that dream has changed a little bit because we've learned a lot, but it was like the second day of the van trip. We needed 2 days where we just weren't at work and grinding and hustling and doing chores and all that. And we came up with this dream of ours. And so we lived in the van for another 6 months, and then we got back to work so that we could pay for our real estate, right? That was the way that we knew how to invest was we would take our consulting income because we went back and became consultants.
Right.
So if you're an architect, if you're a designer, if you're in the real estate space, or if you're a realtor, you can take basically what you want to do is you want to take your income that you make and then go turn that into investment property, right?
Yeah.
And the reason that we chose Airbnb and short-term rentals and now into hotels is because one, we're like avid travelers and we love like experiencing new cultures, new places, and not just like the typical downtown core assets and core properties that you would stay at. Airbnb and hotels all over the world and Airbnbs all over the world allowed you to live and be in different neighborhoods and experience different neighborhoods
Mm.
that
Mm.
you couldn't before. And the other thing that did is that opened up an experience of the house or the apartment or the condo and the artistry that the host would be able to put into that all over the world. And so
Yeah.
we felt like we had a way to express ourselves and our art. My art is creating an experience and a design where from the moment you arrive, you know that we have been intentional with how it's designed and the human experience interacting with the environment, interacting with the doors and the windows and the beds and the space and expansion and contraction and all those things that lead to good design, textures, colors, like how everything integrates. I love that. And so that's why Airbnb and short-term rentals and hotels are sort of our choice, my choice. I'm not lit up by big apartment buildings. Like that doesn't light me up.
Yeah.
You can make money, you can do that. It's not the thing that like gets me going and drives me, right? And so if you're in architecture or real estate in any way and you're on these apartment buildings, great. Do that, get as much experience as you can, take that money and go invest in your own properties and your own stuff that lights you up until you can create something for yourself. But
Mm.
so so basically we focus heavily on Airbnb, and our journey was essentially buying two properties a year for like 5 or 6 years. And we would do bigger and bigger properties, bigger and bigger renovations. Part of it was like a tax game.
Yeah.
Out here in the
Yeah.
US, it's like how much money can I spend to save on taxes? And
Yeah.
so that was part of it, but the other part of it was like how much value can we create? How much like what is the greatest experience that we can create at these properties? And that usually involved adding additional square footage, renovating bathrooms, like fully redoing floors, like adding the big glass triple slider doors on most of the properties to create an experience in the bedrooms and off the kitchens. And we really wanted to create something that was memorable for our guests and make it so that they don't want to leave the property. That was one of the goals that we have, was like if they don't, like, we don't want them to leave. They can, and there's stuff to do, but they just want to stay there the whole time. So that's really one of the reasons why
So
why
really,
we
yeah, it's a really cool goal, like in the sense of creating experiences for people. And like the thing I realized with Airbnb really early on was you can have accommodation as as an overlaying layer accommodation. What Airbnb did is it's a bit like social media. It gave us the ability to go, well, this is my accommodation, and this is how I want you to experience this space and my town, um, versus it's just a bed to put your head in. And as you said, so that people don't want to leave. I stayed in a Airbnb in Tucson, Arizona. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it was unbelievable. Like
You're
so
joking.
cool.
You're
No,
you're joking.
yeah.
That's where we have a lot of our properties, and I bet you it was one of our properties.
It used to be a factory of some sort. It has
Oh
a
no, yes, that one. That's
the white
the root beer
one.
Adobe. Yep.
Yeah, the white. Yeah, yeah, the root beer one. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where we stayed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
We love Tucson because we can
ah,
create whatever we want in Tucson. You can create whatever you want in Tucson because there's the brick, the Adobe, there's different
yeah.
types of brick, there's stucco, there's traditional houses. With the pools and the outdoor. One of the reasons that we love Tucson so much is because we can go create whatever we want, and there's so much room for value add
Ah, right.
in Tucson because not everybody's doing what we're doing, but we can come in and create a product that does not exist out there and it's rewarded for our vision, right? And
Yeah. Awesome.
that's something
Awesome.
for designers, especially designers and architects.
Uh-huh.
The thing with hospitality is and design is it's art. And so we get hung up on the numbers. And I'm a numbers guy. I come from engineering,
Yeah, I was
right?
about
And
to
so
say.
I know. So this is a tricky place for an engineer to be in, or anyone that is used to running numbers. And so you run the numbers on a property, you look at what other the comps are doing, you say this one's good, this one's good, this one's different, this is about what the money is making. And usually what happens when you're running these deals or looking at the numbers is everything looks about average. There's nothing that really is like,
Mhm.
oh, this is a winner, this is a winner, because you have to put yourself out there and do things that nobody else is doing and create the experience that's unique to you and create the design that's unique to you. You can talk about, oh, well, I'm going to put in this breeze block wall and there's going to be these fire pits and we're going to do all these different things. You can't really put that down into a spreadsheet. Like there's no place to put the final effect, the ROI on design.
Yeah.
Like I did a podcast with Isaac French, who did Live Oak Lake. It's a property out in Waco, Texas. And I asked him a lot about ROI on design because this is what everybody wants to figure out.
I'm
And
all ears, man. I'm all ears because I think that there is something. It's just how did you quantify it? And using that engineering brain, I know it's coming.
yeah, I don't. The short answer is I don't have a number. It's you have to trust in the vision. I talked to Isaac and Isaac French and go and my podcast is called For Your Own Good. Go listen to my episode with Isaac. We got deep on what he did. He walked the land for 3 days after he closed on the property. He camped and walked the land with no cell phone, no nothing. He walked and looked at every square inch and he visualized exactly how he wanted everything to be laid out, how he wanted people to experience it, the best placement for everything. He spent 3 full days out there. And then he had a budget. And then they started creeping over that budget. And guess what he did? He went and actually built a house and sold a house and took the
Oh,
profits from building and selling that house to go continue to fund the project. And then he told me, he's like, you know what? We got to a point where we just had to not even look at the budget anymore. And we just had to build what we knew was the right thing to build. And so and then you come back at the end and you like start figuring some things out. But there's a period of time where you really can't look at the budget. You know, things are going to cost what they're going to cost. Like it's about creating the art that you're intending to create.
hmm.
And if you don't do that, then you won't get the full effect of your
Interesting.
ROI on design. Now, for perfectionists out there, that is not permission to try to make it perfect. That is not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is executing on the design in such a way that's efficient, but yet is also art. But it cannot be, I mean, you're unless you're Amangiri, you can't spend ungodly amounts of money and expect to get your money back, right?
Yeah.
And so the way that I teach people is like you have to go find some level of confidence in other properties. They're probably not going to be around. Isaac spent 2.2 million building his
Hmm.
Live Oak Lake. He ended up selling it for $7 million.
That's a little,
Part of that,
that's a lot
part of
too.
that was because he had such a big social media following that was doing direct bookings. So you have to think about it in that way. So how can you make your property more valuable?
So if they were doing direct bookings, then he wasn't losing like a 30% to somebody, like a booking.com or whatever. So he was actually able to make a better return just through that alone.
Yeah, number one, his profit, his NOI is better. But
Hmm.
number two, he has a direct pipeline
Yeah.
of social media followers to direct bookings.
Yeah.
right? So it's not just the direct booking cost savings or revenue increase. It's there's actually a pipeline, and you can message those people or advertise to those people and
Yeah.
they'll buy, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like you're just on booking.com. He got kicked off at Airbnb. Isaac's story is really, really incredible. And he sold. So this is
Yeah.
the other thing with artists is we want to hold on to everything that we have, right? But Isaac sold, and guess what? He cashed in, he has a better life, and he is the face and name of Live Oak Lake. So he still gets the benefit from him creating that art piece, but he cashed in. So this starving artist or my project is my baby and all this stuff, like I don't believe it, right? So the thing is you like first you need to like go build something and create something. And in today's day and age, I look at so many deals, I look at so many hotels, I look at so many Airbnbs, and almost every single time what it comes down to is the numbers are about average. I can't tell you that this is a home run. It's up to you to execute on your vision. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. That honestly, that is life. That is life.
Uh,
Nothing is guaranteed. You have to execute on your vision. And if you build it, they will come.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
I have that same sort of thing with when I'm talking with clients and they say, "Oh, are we going to overcapitalize?" And I go, "Well, look, and purely in real estate terms, there's only a few ways we can work out just how close to overcapitalizing you may be, or you are overcapitalizing. But for if you're overcapitalizing, are you investing in you as a person and your life? Are you doing it as a real estate move? Or are you doing it for your own home? And I only design own homes. So, and a few Airbnbs and things like that, but predominantly just own homes. And with that, I go, so you might spend an extra $100,000 but you're investing that in you because that's how you want to live. And that's going to bring you the joy of how you live. So yes, you may put it on the market tomorrow. I have a little formula. I go, so the first thing you want to do is you want to go and look at your own real estate neighborhood, and you want to identify any unique features in your own neighborhood. So if some houses have got a view versus houses don't have a view, whatever it is, and then you want to go and look at in your neighborhood area, what's those houses say they've got a view? What's the portion of extra that they're getting out above the other 3 or 4 bedroom homes? And let's just say it's $100,000 and your one doesn't have a view or, so you go, well, I'm $100,000 less than whatever they are at that time. Then take a look at the next most desirable neighborhood. So go, where would you, if you didn't live there, but where you could stretch to might be this other one, but you've got to buy a shitter in that neighborhood to get in there, you're entry level, and you've got another 500,000 or 200,000 to spend on bringing the house up to what the house you might have in this neighborhood is. That's where your ceilings are. It's like there's a ceiling point where you can have the most valuable house in your neighborhood, but where does it sit in the next neighborhood up? And that's where overcapitalization happens. And I say, so go and do your research. And rather than employ me to design your house or your renovation, see if there's something you can buy that suits you. Because if it does, then you don't have any of the pain. You move out of this one, you move into that one. It might cost you 50, 100 grand in changeover, whatever, by real estate and lawyers, everything else, depending on where you live. But that 100 grand, I was going to get off you in fees. So, and then you were going to go through the journey of a year, 2 years, and then we were going to have this outcome. I can't predict this afternoon. I can't predict the next 2 minutes. I can hope, but I can't predict them. Everything could change. And so
Well,
we're only making it all up anyway.
I'm glad you brought this up because people think your own home is an investment. It's not. Your own home is a liability. Your house is not making you money every year.
Mhm.
Even if it's appreciating in value, it's still not an investment, right?
Yeah.
I recommend people rent. I rent in
Mhm.
high cost of living markets. I'm paying half of what I would pay in a mortgage for living in the same house in the same location. And that doesn't even count the cost of a down payment and closing costs and everything, right? When you
Yeah,
do the
wow.
math, yeah, when you do the math, so like on this house, this would be a $2 million house that I'm in. I'm renting it
Hmm.
for $5,000. It would be about a ten to $15,000 mortgage, depending on what, right?
Hmm.
So I'm getting it for half to a third of the cost. And I don't have to deal with any of the maintenance, none of that stuff. And for $2 million, I would have had to put down probably 200 grand, right?
At least.
10% down payment.
Yeah.
That 200 grand could have been a down payment on an Airbnb that would generate me $150,000 or top line. Let's say
Yeah.
it gives me, 50K to 75K growth or net. So instead of me sinking 200 grand and $15,000 a month into a primary, I am now renting it for 5 grand and I don't have to deal with any of the headaches. So I went from, what is that? A $350,000 first year cost
Yeah.
plus over 5 years is probably 800K in total
Hmm.
costs to now making money every
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
So people don't think about it like this. What you're doing when you buy a house, you're actually setting yourself back like 5, 6, 7 years in your investing journey. If everybody just bought an Airbnb, a hotel, some investment property that actually made them money, you would be able to buy your dream home much sooner.
Yeah.
But when you buy your house, you're literally creating a huge liability for yourself that prevents you from then having the cash, having the capital to go and buy an investment property. If you bought an investment property, you're actually creating wealth and creating cash flow, and you have cheaper housing costs, especially in the beginning.
Mm.
You can
Mm.
buy your dream home much sooner if you just invested in
Mm.
investment properties from the very beginning. But we have this American dream, and I don't know how it is in Australia, but like,
Same.
yeah, it's the same, right? But you're lied to. If you just said, hey, I'm okay renting and I'll pay more in rent than I am right now. Like a lot of people think, oh, if I rent, I have to get a crappy place. No, go find a nice place to rent. Spend a little bit more money.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to go use your cash to go buy investment properties, then you're going to generate more cash flow and you're going to create more wealth and you're going to get into your dream home much sooner. Or what you're actually going to find is, oh, I'm going to keep renting because I actually really like this. And I'm going
Yeah.
to keep buying more investment properties. So you're actually just going to create more and more wealth. You're actually going to live a simpler life. You're not going to be doing chores on the weekend because you
No.
don't have to mow the lawn or you don't have to whatever. So for me, renting, especially in a high cost of living area, is going to beat out buying every single time.
That's really interesting, eh? Because as you say, like, to some degree, we sold the lie. And if you just, zoom out and you look at banking structures of, so, like whether it be the Fed or whether it be, our like Reserve Bank, they are reliant on their income by people borrowing money. That's the way that they keep the industry going. Everything works from that. And they the security of your own home, I think probably is a hangover from, it's certainly in Australia, from and New Zealand is a hangover from, the British days when the king owned the land or the duke owned the land or whatever, and all the serfs worked for them, and they were kind of enslaved, I suppose, to some degree. And what you've just sort of discussed there was this thing of going, okay, so unlock your yep, how do I put this? It's like if you've got overheads, what are your fixed overheads in life? And what
Mhm.
you're doing is you're just saying, well, the fixed overhead of whatever that mortgage is this, and we'll say it's 15,000, and then you can actually rent the same or better property for 5,000, and unlock the mental space, the time, the maintenance, and everything else, and the money to be able to shift that over to here into the marketplace. And being able to
That's right.
shift it over here into the marketplace means then you said earlier that you did two properties a year. Um, I'd love that. That's that strategy. So tell me about doing two properties a year as a strategy. And do you get the ability with renting to make that more tax effective than you would if you were owning your own
100%.
your own principal place of residence.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So even renting my own primary own principal, like this home office, I can
Mhm.
use my business to rent from myself, and so that would be a deduction, and then it wouldn't necessarily count as income on the
Yeah.
personal side. I think there is some, but
Yeah,
yeah,
be
so
something. Yeah.
but the greater tax benefit, because you can or you can expense mortgage interest. Actually, I don't even know if you can do that anymore, because what I'll tell you is anything associated with someone who's a regular employee or a contractor consultant, 1099, I don't know what it is in Australia.
Neither
The
do I.
tax benefits that you get, the tax benefits that you get as a regular employee or contractor, they
Oh,
literally they mean almost nothing compared to the tax benefits of buying an investment property like an Airbnb, hotel, storage, that sort of stuff. It's very hard to explain to someone that has not done it before, but here's what I'll tell you. Over the last 7 years, I have made more money than I've ever made before, both in consulting, so like an active job, coaching, and buying real estate. I've made more money than I've ever made in my life. I've accumulated assets, many assets.
mhm.
I've paid $0 in taxes or very little.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I take home a lot, right? It's not like, oh, I had to spend a bunch of money as a write-off. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is depreciation. What I'm talking about is a rule that was put in place by the wealthy, elite, rich people in government that are like, hey, well, I've got this thing. I want to buy more real estate. Real estate's valuable. I'm renting it out to people. Can you like let me write off the whole amount of the property in 1 year? Sure, you can do that.
Yeah,
So
they've got that now, eh? Like in certain places, not everywhere, maybe. Or is
100%
it?
bonus depreciation in the entire US. So what that
Yeah.
means is, let's say I make $1 million
Mhm.
a year. Let's say I make a million. Let's use regular. We'll use
Yeah,
like,
make it, it's a nice round number. Just use a
yeah.
million. We can do
Okay,
probably
so a
the
million
math on it.
dollars.
Yep.
$1 million. All I need to do to pay $0 in taxes is go buy a $1 million short-term rental. That's it. That's it. That's all I need to do. Because what it does is, and this is the great thing, is I put 20% down
Hmm.
on the $1 million property,
Hmm.
but I get to write off the entire value of that property, the $1 million.
All in the
So
first
I
year.
in the entire amount in the first year. And the great thing is, let's say I make $500,000 a year, but I still buy
Mhm.
that $1 million property. I can take the 500 grand in the first year, and then I can roll it over, and I can take the next 500 grand in the second year. That's how I've been able to make as much money as I have and pay zero in taxes, because depreciation, you can essentially flex it and use it with your CPA to eliminate or really greatly reduce your taxes. And the best way for all my Americans listening, the best way for any regular person that's working a regular job to pay $0 in taxes is to go buy an Airbnb, get a cost segregation study done, and use bonus depreciation. And usually for most people, they can use 2, 3, 4, 5 years before they
Yep.
run out, depending on how much money they're making or the type
Hmm.
of property that they buy. So this is only available to Americans that buy an Airbnb and have a regular job or like a consulting job, basically offset their active income. This is what it's called, is offsetting their active income, unless you have a real estate professional status. So if you're a realtor or if you're a full-time investor, which most of us are not, then this is the way to do it. The greatest hack ever, that in my opinion, and this is where people need to do the math. Let's say you have a spouse. I don't care. Could be the man, the woman, guy, girl. I don't care.
Whatever. Yep.
Someone is making more money than the other, or one person just doesn't really love working their job, but the other person is totally fine working their job. You should do the math on how much money you'll save in taxes if that one person quits their job and goes and becomes a full-time real estate investor or full-time real estate professional, right? A full-time real estate professional can be a property manager, they can be a broker, they can be a lender, they can be a realtor. There's a whole bunch of things you could do to be a real estate professional. And do the math on the tax savings that you would get versus the salary that you're making for that one person, right? So if they're making 50 grand a year, but
Yep.
if they went and became a realtor and would allow the depreciation to save them $200,000 in taxes every year, which one are you going to take? Working full time to make 50, or quitting your job, having freedom to save $200,000 in taxes?
And having the freedom also to be an entrepreneur and take a journey.
Exactly.
Such an interesting thing that obviously there's in Australia. I don't know all the rules, so don't quote me on any of it. But I certainly have a big bunch of people around me that do the similar type thing and train people in it. Um, one of the things with that is like being able to zoom out far enough, but also start young enough, like I was going to say, so you left work at say 30 and went, oh shit, we're doing this, jumped in the van, and that there's some magic in actually taking space and then going, okay, let's figure this shit out. Because the magic is that you took the space to do it. And you didn't go, well, there's a whole lot of things that are going to stop us. You bought a van, did van life, and you backed yourselves that you could come back, work for somebody as you needed to, all the rest, which is what you did. But you went, okay, we've got a clear vision, maybe not perfect, but a clear vision of where you're going to go. And I often think, how you said all around the world, like that was that vision of owning things all around the world. I had a vision with my design that I didn't want to just design in Australia. And I'm a Kiwi originally, so I'm from New Zealand. And I went, well, I want to design all over the place. But I don't have a license to design all over the place. How does this work? How do I do this? And I can tell you now, I have jobs in England, in New Zealand, and in 3 states in Australia, um, currently on my books. And I only do a few houses a year. I don't do like tons. I do maybe 4 or 5 houses a year. But that was a vision where I went, how can I do this? How can I? And I've had jobs, in other countries as well, like India and all over the place. But it was this vision of going, I want to experience doing that. And I want to experience working with people who can do that. Um, and putting it there as a goal and then looking for the opportunity, turning your RAS on, your, reticulated activating system, turning that on and then letting that energy come to you as well as putting the energy out. Um,
Yeah, the vision is everything. Vision is everything. And a lot of people get stuck because they don't think their vision is big enough, or they think it's too big, and so they never take action, or they're
yeah,
not sure if they want to go this path or that path. And what I'll tell you is you need to pick something. Otherwise,
mm,
you're just going to be stuck in purgatory, stuck in mediocrity, stuck in limiting beliefs, stuck in being stuck. You
yeah,
won't do everything. You're just going to keep living your life on repeat, thinking and thinking and thinking, being fully aware that you're not living your true purpose and you're not living your full desires, but you're not doing anything about it. And so your own ability to just say, I'm just going to go do this and commit to it is what's going to give the universe the permission to like allow you to receive everything that you've been asking for, right? And so you need to just pick a direction and you need to take a step forward and you need to tell people what you're doing, because then the things will start showing up. So many times we want to be like, oh, well, I'm going to think about this. I'm going to figure this out. Yeah, I need to figure that out. The way you figure anything out is by doing.
yeah,
To do, you need a purpose and a vision, and it doesn't have to be that complicated, right? I want to make more money so I can quit my job. I'm going to do it through Airbnbs. Cool, fucking go. Like,
yeah.
just
Just
go
go.
and
Yeah,
just tell people, because you know what? When you are uncertain, other people know that you're uncertain. They can feel it on you. They can
yeah.
sense it. Your unseriousness, your back and forth,
You're maybe, you're not.
your
Yeah,
maybes,
yeah,
your shoulds, your woulds, your coulds.
yeah,
The universe and everyone can smell it all over you. And so it is impossible for you to get what you want when you have not even committed to yourself and saying, I am this, I have this, I'm doing this, and taking the steps forward. You
yeah,
have to help yourself in the beginning. You have to help yourself first, and then the things will start to appear. The path becomes clearer. But if you don't say I'm doing it, and if you don't have a real big why behind it, like getting enough money to get out of your job, that's a big why. Like some
yeah,
people think it's like, oh, money's bad or whatever. No, like if you don't want to work your job and you want freedom, especially if it's to spend time with your family and your kids and create expansiveness in this world and make a difference, that is a big enough why. But you need to keep that at the forefront. And
Mm.
your vehicle to get there should be bigger. But it's okay if you just start doing the thing that you think you're supposed to do, even if it's not massive. And then you'll learn and you'll learn and you'll learn. So like looking back, it would have been great if I was like, oh, I bought one Airbnb, I should go to hotels, right? And then if I just focus on hotels, that would have been great if I did that. But that wasn't the lesson and the path that I needed to learn. And that's not what brought me to you today.
Yeah.
So who am I
Yeah.
to say that I have any regrets? Because I don't, but you have no idea what's possible until you take the step forward. And when you start moving forward, you don't even know what's going to come your way. All these unexpected opportunities,
Mhm.
but you have to commit and you just have to keep going. And the people that actually get what they want, it's very simple. It's so simple. It's the ones that can consistently show up every single day and do the things that are required to become the future version of themselves. And the longer that you show up, it is inevitable that you will get what you want. That's it. If you just show up every day and take small, consistent actions towards the direction of your vision, it's inevitable. But you have to do it with commitment and conviction. You can't do it, oh, yeah, I'm showing up. Oh, yeah, I'm doing this. I'm doing this. Like,
Yeah,
so many,
I
yeah.
remember back in that the book The Secret, that we came out years ago, and there was somebody, I don't know, maybe about 6 months later, that said, one of the people from The Secret said, you can't just sit on the couch and wait for this shit. You actually have to take some steps, and you can envisage it, but you actually have to take that and go forward with it. It's not enough to just wish that it would happen.
No,
You're on the
no,
hopium pipe that way, not on the actual make it happen pipe.
yeah, I'm a huge believer in manifestation,
Yeah.
but it's not just put it out there and hope it happens. No, like the manifestation is making declarations,
Yeah.
writing things down, saying them out loud, and
Ah.
then in your every day-to-day life, when you know what your vision is, when you know what you're manifesting, are you taking the steps and are you making the decisions that are in alignment with what you're trying to manifest? You
Hmm.
may not know what's coming, you may not know when it's coming, but if I say that I'm going to go build a ground up hotel development and I'm over here like flipping houses, those two are not in alignment. I'm not going to be able to manifest my hotel when I'm making decisions that are out of alignment with my dreams and my goals and my vision, right? And so we get
So
there's
this,
a
so
post.
this is why people get stuck in their job as well, isn't it? Not necessarily their job. They get stuck in their own business. For instance, I design houses, and in designing houses, I take a huge chunk of my mental energy and my daily purpose is designing these things for somebody else. And I can make that as busy as I want. I can make it 24 hours a day busy. I can make it 2 hours a day busy, whatever I choose. But if I make it, say, 8 hours a day busy, and I'm not putting another twist this way over here and making, maybe a chunk of 4 hours about this other thing so that it's got the ability to actually shift me. So I'm seeing everything through these eyes as well. Um, I don't know whether that makes sense or not, but it's like,
Well, so here's a question.
it's
You
the
say you do about
energy.
four, you say
Yeah.
you do about 4 to 5 houses a day.
Yeah.
Or sorry, 4 to 5 houses a year. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Not that busy.
Four to 5 houses a year.
Mhm.
What would it look like if you did one house a year and you doubled your income from what it is right now? What would need to be true for you to be able to do one house a year and double your income? If that's what, let's just say that's what you
Yeah,
wanted.
yeah, yeah,
Like this
yeah.
is
No, no.
hypothetical. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, let's go with it.
What would need to be true for that to happen?
I'd have to be way better organized. I would have to, there's a bit of a scarcity mentality that I have that if I'm not busy, I think the ADHD side of me, if I'm not actually doing something, then life's passing me by. If I haven't got a goal or a target, you design a house for somebody, well, there's a next meeting, there's another this, there's these incremental steps. So there's a safety in that, and there's an invoice that you're going to send out. That would be the scarcity mentality piece, going, oh, hold on a second. How can I do that? How can I had somebody years ago who said to me, you get 24 hours in a day. We all do. And how do you choose to spend each hour? We'll say they did
Yeah,
minutes, but how
literally
do you
spend. Yeah.
spend it? Yeah. If you put a dollar value on it, how do you choose to spend it? And would you, how quickly would you discount your sleep? And I'm like, what do you mean? They said, well, how quickly would you go, oh, I could do 20 hours work and do 4 hours only sleeping. And then they made this point from there. You would be better to spend 8 hours sleeping, 2 hours daydreaming. There's 10 hours of your day gone. And then actually focus on what you might want to do with the other 14. That maybe brings
Yeah,
you income or does something better in life. And I was like,
exactly. So the approach is like, instead of spending your time, how are you investing it in your future
yeah,
self? Because your future self is so well known and can charge such high rates and attracts the best top clients that you can pick and choose whatever you want to do. And you
mhm,
value your time because you're investing your time, and you don't just look busy because it's all that you have in front of you. Usually, what we do is we fill the time that we have with exactly what we have in front of us. And there's levels to this.
yeah,
But if you invest your time in your future self and you say, this is what I want my life to look like, and maybe just because you enjoy it, you want to do 4 to 5 houses,
mhm.
but I bet you could spend half as much time and charge twice as much and live a better life. And that's true for like everybody.
Yeah,
That's true
not
for
just me. Yeah,
everybody.
yeah,
Everybody out there, you are spending so much time on just what you have existing in front of you. When if
mm,
you invested a little bit of time in the future version of yourself, meaning people need to know who you are, you need to know what you are doing, you need to build your skills, and you need to delegate and get rid of stuff. Like these are just like tactical things.
hmm,
But like if you're investing in your future self to live your future life, you're not just filling your time with what you currently have in front of you. But that's what most people in this world are doing, is we are not urgent enough. We are not filling our time. We're not vision forward. We're not saying no to things. We're allowing other people to dictate our time. Because if you don't have a dream or a vision, like you're living someone else's dream and vision,
yeah.
or
Well, well,
you're just living on default. You're just
yeah,
operating on default, and life is too freaking short to be living on default, right? The listeners of this podcast, I'm sure, are artists,
yeah,
and this is a common artist thing, just like in the manifestation community and the healing community. A lot of the things that artists and designers and healers, what they say, a lot of it is excuses masked as like this this masked as like they're intelligent, or masked as like they know what they're talking about. They use their words and their artistry as an excuse to not go make money, as an excuse to not go live the life that they want. This broken artist like syndrome
hmm,
is so toxic. And if you haven't, read the Artist's Way. And the
the
Artist's Way
artist way.
talks a lot about this. It is an incredible book. And if you do the morning pages and if you read the words, we are all artists, we are all creators, we all have a purpose, and we allow our own fears to trick us into procrastinating and playing small. That's what happens. And I know I'm on here to talk about hotels and Airbnbs and like all that, but like this is my passion, is
Oh,
opening up
you can't
everybody's ability.
tell. You can't tell.
I know, but
What's
this is what I'm passionate
what's
about, because
uh,
I was there, dude. Because Adrian, I was there.
yeah.
I was living corporate, and I'm like this smart engineer, high achiever type, right? And I got tricked, and I got pushed
Mm,
into a box, and I got pushed around, and I got told that I wasn't good enough, and I got told that my ideas aren't right, and don't be like that, don't act like that. And I still achieved, and I still made it. And so if Kassidy, who has done all this stuff, even despite all that, got stuck, I cannot imagine how many people are out there living the life that they never thought that they were going to live, living their parents' life, living someone else's life,
or not
unhappy,
even as good.
depressed, sad.
Yeah.
Like every single day you're commuting to work, every single day you're showing up for somebody else. When in reality, what's going to happen in the future is if you don't have social media, if you don't have a personal brand, if you aren't seen in some way, you're gone. Your life today is going to get worse. If you don't stand up for yourself and if you don't create something for yourself, the life that you know right now is gone. AI is going to come in, it's going to take over, and you're not going to have anything to stand on because you're relying on somebody else to pay you. Not everybody needs to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody needs to start a business, but you need to have some level of personal brand and some level of marketing yourself and in exchanging goods or services in some way.
Even if it is in a business where you work for somebody, like I just had this conversation. Our niece lives with us and she's 17 and she's just leaving school and she's got a full-time job. And she is, well, a wonderful girl. Like she's bright, bubbly, she's always got a smile, she's always got a positive attitude. And anyway, she was talking to me about she's taking on this full-time role. And I said, well, you are who you are. And in this role, it's a stepping stone to being your personal brand. So what does your name stand for? When people hear your name, I know it's a big concept, but when they hear your name, does it stand for that I want that person around me. I want that person's knowledge. I trust them. I want all those things. Or does it stand for something else? So even while you're working, like you said, in the corporate structure, being able to elevate yourself to winning in that structure, not at the expense of others, just winning by being yourself and bringing your energy and bringing yourself to it. And I think too often in the employee mentality ends up being that I'm doing it for you and not for myself. Well, the minute you're doing any of it, you're doing it for yourself. And yes, it
Yeah.
might be somebody else's journey, but if you can't prove it in their journey for them in that space, then you're going to have a harder job proving it for yourself, like elevate yourself wherever it is. And if it is, not everybody is cut out to be an entrepreneur. I agree. I've been in my own business for so long. And I would not say I'm a great entrepreneur by any means, like it's not, there's
Well,
so
that's not a
many.
good vision to have,
No,
Adrian.
there's
That's
so
not a good vision to
exactly
have.
true. But what's interesting with it is my points of where my overwhelm are when I'm doing things and then going, okay, how do you better manage those? You said before that piece about what would change in life and how would that be? It would be breaking down those points of overwhelm and going, okay, they're taken care of this way. They're taken systemize or personalize, then put a person in those spaces. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And your point about working on yourself, even inside of a corporate environment. I have a buddy, his name is Brian Lubin. He helps people quit their jobs. And one of the
Yeah,
things that he
right.
says first, and I agree with him, is become an entrepreneur first.
Yeah.
So if you can't hold a job, if you can't get a promotion, if you can't get a raise at work, if you're being put on a performance improvement plan at work, focus on
There's
becoming
a
a better
warning.
employee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you can't manage yourself at work and be a good employee at work, then it's going to be really hard for you to also be an entrepreneur, right? There are people that like they could be solopreneurs
Yeah.
because they're that type of person, but if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to quit your job or whatever it is, try being the best employee that you can absolutely be. Like you just stated, do it for
Mm.
yourself. So you skill build, you network, you get promotions, you create something for yourself, even within that container of the corporate environment. Because what that'll do is you'll start to get promotions, you'll start to make more money. And guess what? You can go use that money to go buy real estate or go fund your side hustle or your venture or whatever, right? If you're stuck in performance improvement plans, that's on you, man. That's on you. Like
Mm-hmm. A hundred
everything
percent.
everything in life is about you taking radical responsibility for yourself, who you're being, how you're showing up. It is nobody's fault. The victim never wins. The victim never wins. The victim always loses. And they don't know it until they decide to stop being the victim. But most of us are playing the victim, and it's somebody else's fault that we haven't gotten everything that we need. And as soon as you decide to take radical responsibility for yourself, that's when everything changes, because you will realize that you are actually in control of how things end up and the outcomes. And then you will receive surprises of things you didn't even know that were going to happen, right?
Yeah.
But that's where the vision, and that's where, I could go on and on this stuff, Adrian. I could like talk about this stuff forever, but
I think it's
um
super valuable, this stuff, like it's the foundation stuff that you had to learn. You were in the other system, you had to learn it. And that personal growth is what gave you the opportunity to see and create the vision, and then even create that, the van life piece, the space to create the vision, to get a better handle on that. And then from that, the rest is history. It's like, okay, well, what's the system? How do we make that system? How do we build from that? I love the
that's right.
fact that when you started, you talked about creating experiences for people, that greater thing of going, what have I got within me that does something for somebody else that is greater? And that thing with Airbnb changed the world space in this way where you stop paying for accommodation, just accommodation. It wasn't just a place to put your head, it was a place to have an experience. And so you could actually dot around and have these different experiences wherever you went. Um, and they would be somebody else's personal experience that they curated a space for you in. And so many people just looked at it as being accommodation, whereas the people that looked at it as being, oh, how do I create an experience for somebody? Whether it be a room in a house, or whether it be a whole house, or whether it be a cabin or a shed or a tent or whatever
Yeah,
it is.
because that stuff is always going to win. And you can have a definition of what winning is, and everyone's
Mhm.
definition of winning is different. But those experiences, those properties, those things, those pieces of art will always win,
Mhm.
because people aren't talking about the great experience they had at the Motel 6 off of the I-5 down in Bakersfield, right? They're talking about they're talking
Unless they
about
got out alive. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So you have to, like, when you actually listen to what people talk about, especially around hotels,
Yeah.
you realize that it's the ones that were the owners or the designers, whoever was responsible, created something that didn't exist before
Mhm.
and were very intentional about it. Those are the ones that win. Those are the ones that last forever. Like, there's these landmark properties all over the world that people return to over and over and over again and spend exorbitant amount of monies, right? And so the when you think about like energy exchange in the world, and like lifetime value and like adding value, like this is almost like an energy exchange of like, what is the amount of love and energy that you pour into a property, and that is what you will get back tenfold, hundredfold over time, because of what you decided to create and when it's genuine and authentic to you. And so that's what landed me at this recent project that we're under contract for on Orcas Island. It's a group of islands north of Seattle.
Yeah.
Orcas is like, they call it the jewel of the San Juans, because it has mountains, it has lakes, it has rivers. The food is incredible. We crabbing, whales. It's got everything, and it's got this cute little village at the peak of it's a horseshoe at the peak of the horseshoe. And my wife and I got married on Orcas Island. There's a ton of money out there, but there's also just families camping. It's like one of the best places in the world. It's kind of like a
So,
hippie, bougie,
yeah. So
Cape Cod.
do you catch the ferry out from Seattle?
Yes, yeah, you catch the ferry. It's not from Seattle, but it's from a town called Anacortes. And so the ferry's about an hour.
Okay.
You can fly, people boat. I mean, there's a whole boating culture. There's so much going on, especially in summer. It's a short season, but um, they say real estate's not emotional, but
It
I think with
is.
hospitality, it really is. And
Even with houses, go back to that very basic thing. We live in houses because it's shelter and security. That's emotional. That just, it's all emotional. It's driven by
that
emotion.
that's a good
Need for
point.
security, need for um, shelter. Those things are part of what forms us as humans. So we all start on that. It's yeah, and then it's like, how good can it get?
Exactly. And that's what people forget, because I've been looking, like I said, I've been looking at a bunch of hotels. I own a hotel with partners, and most everything that I'm looking at that is a normal, or like basically any hotel,
Yeah.
it's usually overpriced. The returns are average. You have to raise money, and you can't create the exact vision that you want to create that will create enough
Hmm.
value, right? Like, I could try to expand myself and find the perfect property, but that led me to like, I think I just need to go create what I want to go create. And
Yeah,
so
right.
there's 1.4 acres on Orcas Island. It's got existing commercial, which means it'll help
Yeah.
cover the debt a little bit, which is great. And
Oh,
the
okay,
rest is
cool. So it's got an existing commercial property on there that's already
yes.
rented out. Perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not going to cover the whole debt, but
Hmm.
I'll be able to like even if I go negative cash flow for, for a year, that's fine
Yeah.
because the value is in building something. And then that's where we get to go create what we want to go create. And there's what we want to create, my wife and I, does
Yeah.
not exist out on the island. And so this is going to be something that especially at the center is going to be wellness and sauna, cold plunge, but experiencing the architecture and experiencing the landscape and experiencing the rooms and the design and the build as part of the whole thing. Like it's not just a box on a lot. It's going to be something that you'll remember, and it's going to be the landmark property where like what I want to do is I want this to be like the anniversary property, right? Where everybody wants to go on their anniversary. They book it a year in advance. Like the views are incredible, the spa, the sauna, all that is incredible. It's in the perfect little location, so it's right downtown, but it's separate from everything at the same time. And I truly want to create like the iconic property on the island. So
I
that's
love
that's
that.
what I want to go do. But
There's a vision.
that's gonna require me, like I already talked to some lenders, and there's a local lender I was talking to. He's like, "You're never gonna be able to do this. No one's gonna give you the money. You have to like I haven't even closed yet just to buy the initial purchase. He's talking about you're not going to get a construction loan. Nobody's giving loans out. You can't build this. It's too expensive. It's out on the island. You might as well consider it Zimbabwe with how far away it is." And I was like, thank you for
Dude,
all your
that's
feedback. And I
yeah.
and I thank you for your feedback. I appreciate you saying all that. I'm someone that goes and figures out how to make my dreams come true. Like this is what I told him. I was like, I'm someone that goes and figures out how to make anything possible. And so I appreciate that you know your stuff and I'm going to go do it. And I would
Yep.
love if you wanted to be a part of this too. So that's my work. So
I
when you
love
talked
that.
about the entrepreneur and how much time we're spending, where it comes down to is your ability to level up as a leader. And
Mm.
everybody's a leader. And so if you're stuck in the 4 to 5 projects and the doing, and you're filling your time with the doing, you'll never be able to level up into that next level and stretch yourself into a place where you're able to create the next level of your vision. And so
Mm.
that's what I'm trying to do right now. And so the next level of my vision is this is going to be a $30 million hotel that costs $15 million to build or less, hopefully.
So when you say
And
when you say a $30 million hotel that costs 15 to build, what tell me what that means. So a $30 million hotel would be what it would be valued at as a package at the end, or
correct. Yes,
yeah,
correct.
right.
So the way that I look at real estate, and we
Uh-huh.
didn't get into it, but I teach something called velocity of
Yeah.
money. I look at real estate from the value. I don't look at it from the cash flow. So many, especially on the residential side, so many people want to look at cash flow, cash flow, cash flow.
So you look at the
I
capital value.
exactly. And in commercial, it is based off of cash flow,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
But it's also based off of like, can you make something that's better than everything else around?
Mhm.
It's called compressing the cap rate. And
Yeah.
so, but my fundamental is like, can I double the value? And so without considering cash flow, can
Uh-huh.
I at least double the value? And so I'm looking at 30 mil because I think it's going to cost anywhere from 10 to 15 to build, depending on
Gotcha.
what we're trying to do. And
Yeah.
that's just my own little
Yep.
whoop,
Yep. But that's a
which means that
metric.
we need to
It's a
do about
metric
five
that you go, okay, that's that.
exactly.
Yeah. And then you
And
can,
that means that we need
sorry, you go.
sorry, I was going to say we need to do $5 million in revenue. So
Yes,
there's these
that's
are all
it.
connected. Exactly. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so, oh, okay, so what does that mean for cash flow? Okay, how much of that is spa? How much of that is rooms? How many rooms and what is the configuration? So that's going to be the fun of the design is designing for our ideal customer and then designing something and achieving ADRs that don't really exist out there right now. So my level up is I'm going to have to go to investors and people and say, hey, look, this does not exist out here, but this is what we're trying to do. This
Does
is what we're
it
trying to do.
does it
Yeah.
exist somewhere else?
And that's what I was talking about earlier, where you have to go find the confidence levels
Yeah.
in other markets, in other areas where you're
Yeah.
like, okay, and like you were talking about in this neighborhood versus that neighborhood, the views
Yeah.
or the no views, that's what you have to do is like, okay, this doesn't exist here, but look at this property down in Waco, Texas, Isaac
Hmm.
French,
That
and
it
look
does
what it
exist.
did.
Yeah. Well, look at
Exactly. Now
Marfa,
we're on an
Marfa,
island, so
Texas.
that'll
Marfa, Texas is the same story. The whole town,
exactly. Exactly. The whole town. Now, McConaughey had a little bit to do with that
of
because,
course.
people,
Yep.
but yeah, they're at Santa Fe or Taos.
But do you know you
Yeah,
say that like with McConaughey had a little bit to do with that. Somebody has a little bit to do with most things somewhere at some
mhm.
point, and that opens a community door or whatever. And in that whole thing happening, when Donald Judd went out there into the desert and went, well, out in West Texas and said, I'm going to do Martha and all the rest, those kinds of things were him doing just exactly what you're saying. They're just him
Exactly.
doing that. And everybody goes, oh, if only I'd done this, the if onlys. It's like, well, actually do it. Like do something with that, like that's the
You create your own reality. You create
yeah.
your own reality, and that's why you have to go build what you want to go build. The
Mm,
risk will always be there. The time will never be perfect. And that's what I came down to. I was like, I was spinning my wheels on like, okay, what am I going to buy? What am I going to create? And it kept coming back to this. And if I'm going to do it, then I got to do it. And that means that I got to confront all the challenges that are going to be there. The property has wetlands on it. I'm going to have to go find lending. I'm going to go have to raise money. We're going to have to go through all those challenges, right? Those
yeah.
are always going to exist, whether I start it today or whether I start it 10 years from now. And how would I feel if I started 10 years from now versus just going
Older,
after older
older and
and
more
less time?
cynical. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so people forget, I love that you brought this up. People forget that one person had an idea to go create Marfa,
Mm,
Texas, or
mhm,
Elon Musk, love him or hate him, has the idea to go colonize Mars.
mhm,
And he's doing it, and he created the electric car company, and he's
yeah,
gone been through the ringer.
yeah.
But these people decided to go act on their vision.
Oh, Steve
And
Jobs,
Steve Jobs,
Steve Wozniak, Steve Jobs,
Wozniak,
just
that
those guys, they had a vision, they went, and those are the big hitters. I mean, there's tons of people that do it on a much smaller scale. And they create this piece of magic and a piece of magic and a piece of magic. Um,
exactly. And that's what we should all be striving to do is create the
yeah.
piece of magic. And that's why I believe in real estate. I believe that real estate can be the vehicle to get you out of whatever trap and then go allow you to
Hmm.
go live the life that you want to go live. Because many people are not going to be able to just quit their job and go do the thing that they want to go do. But many people that listen to your podcast
Yeah.
have the ability to go create experiences through Airbnb or hotels or whatever,
But
and
you know,
they can, yeah,
one of the great ones that exists for architects, in particular, and building designers, is the ability to go and say, find a property, and that property may be a property that has an office. It might be a building, like a single standalone free property. And they've got all the ability to look at all the planning consents, all the different things that the county and everything else. They're doing that all day long anyway. So they look at that property and they go, you know what, we could move our office into that property to start with. We could do a rent to buy as well, possibly on that property. So we get ourselves into it. We have a rent to buy. Our office is in there. Maybe we share offices with others to split costs down, or we just rent to buy and leave somebody else in it, whichever it is. And the time that they're going to actually have to start paying for it, like really paying for it, not rent to buy, they can do all the development applications. They can have the whole building designed, whatever it is. They can do all the figures. They don't even have to sell, they don't even, sorry, have to build it. They can sell it as a package deal to somebody who wants to buy it, who doesn't want to do all that stuff. And they're buying the design, they're buying the ability to go into the construction. They've got all the facts and figures, just like they do for a client. And they can do that out of their own office in their own, I want to say, time so easily that they can, and they don't
it's
even
one of the
have to
greatest
do it.
it's
Yeah.
one of the greatest skills to have is the ability to get entitlements and permits. And
Mm.
if you can do that for properties, there's a lot of people that's all they do. They land
Yeah.
hack or they land flip or they find an existing structure
Yeah.
and they create all the plans and permits for it. There's a ton of value in that, especially if you're a fee-based
Yeah.
architect or a fee-based designer, because you know that, especially if you're doing it for yourself,
Hmm.
and your project, you would get it done a lot faster than
Hmm.
if you were doing it for a
Oh,
client, right?
gotcha. You don't even have to have the meetings.
That's what yeah, exactly. You just go do it. Yeah, you just go do it. Exactly.
Yeah,
And so
and your meetings shift to being the meetings with the people that what would people be looking to invest in if you were going to sell this? You know, what you're talking to your real estate agents and your business brokers and then investment groups and stuff like that and going, I have a package, it's here, it's ready to roll. It's got, 2 years before we have to break ground or whatever it is. And there's a really simple way that you can use the resources that you already have to push yourself forward uh, in this industry and not even take
exactly.
the risk. You're taking no risk. Or maybe the risk was is going and asking if you could do a rent to buy and
Yeah,
getting
but
told to
and some
fuck
people
off. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but that's the
Gotta
thing is
look at
like
10 properties or 100 properties.
if you knew there was $1 million on the other side of getting 100 fuck offs,
Yeah, you'd
how
do it,
quickly
wouldn't you?
would you get those 100 fuck offs? Yeah, you'd get yeah, tell me to fuck off, tell me to fuck like you
Roll
like
it
you would be
out.
begging
I got
people.
all week. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And that's the thing is like,
Yeah.
but and a lot of people don't know what they don't know. And that's why like within my community, we have a group of people, myself, leading the community, but we have all of these people that are here that are helping people figure out creative solutions to go get deals under contract, to go design, to go build, to
Yeah.
go get entitlements, whatever it might be. And you being on your own, trying to figure it out, that's not how life works. The way you figure it out is you go get in community and you go take action. And then you take a step, you learn something new presents itself, and you come back to the community and you're like, is this right? What do I do? And you keep going, you keep going, you keep going. That's really the only way that I see to really be truly successful in this world is by partnering with people, not like
Yeah. No.
partnering,
Yeah.
but
No.
being in community and
Yeah.
being with people and
Yeah.
leveraging other people's experience. But
Yeah.
so many people just want to be doing it on their own, or they want to sit and figure it out, but they
Uh,
don't take action. They're in the same place that they were a year ago or 2 years ago, and they haven't done anything to figure out how they're going to go get this done.
I think that happens a ton. And one of the things is people are so worried about the judgment of everybody around them. Whereas they don't see that next piece of the vision going where your friends, family, whatever go, oh my God, he pulled that off. Like, that's amazing. We applaud you for that. You're always going to have the haters. You're always going to have these different things. And with that, you want to be able to go, I actually am in for this. I'm in for this ride. So is there more you can tell us about your project for the hotel? Like when you look at a hotel, one of the things I often say to people is, I've got no idea. You get a building. I get that. And the building is the emotional shelter as well as the experience. And that is the building and the place. The place can be completely separated. You can do that by just taking you through a door and transitioning you into something. But in your case, it's in a place and the journey to that place is actually what you're going to sell. It's You're going to sell it way back here, whether it be getting on the plane or whether it be getting on the ferry. That journey is one of your greatest competitive advantages because
And
it's
that's
stepping
why
from this world to that world.
yeah, and that's why you can call it your frontage, or you
Yeah,
can call it your entrance,
yeah,
your lobby, like whatever even the street that people are going down, even the parking lot, the turn in is so important to execute properly to cater towards the experience that your guest is going to receive. And so, uh, actually, something that I've been really not just considering, but is I mentioned this expansion contraction,
yeah.
but there's the existing commercial out front that's like it's a little run down, like there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a little older. There's a little parking lot. But what I want to do is I want you to not even be able to tell that this thing exists off the street. And then I want you to turn in the parking lot. I want there to be a little something that you go
Little
through, and then all of a sudden you're in it, right?
a
And
transition tunnel, like a transition
exactly,
point.
exactly. Some of the best hotels there's two that I remember. There was the W in Bali, and
Uh-huh.
then there was it's the Marriott in Maui, over at not
Oh,
Waikiki,
Kauai.
Wailea.
Oh, wow.
This one isn't Wailea, but they have all the entrance is hundreds of banyan trees,
Yeah.
with lights, little lanterns hanging off the banyan trees. It's just absolutely incredible. That just like the hotel could have sucked, and just driving through that tunnel of banyan trees is incredible. And so I think a lot about that stuff. And then I think a
Mm.
lot about, let's say, like with the spa and wellness facility, almost like a circular or like a helix structure, playing with negatives, experiencing the transitions between environments, even within the spa and wellness. So like, let's
Yeah.
say you're going to be going into the sauna. What is that walking journey like, and how
Uh-huh.
does it prepare you to experience and feel something like you're entering a cave sort of thing? Like these are the things that I'm playing with in my mind, because
We
all of that matters. All of that matters in how you feel and the emotions I'm trying to evoke in you as you go experience the property.
I developed in my business three products that are within my business, or three programs within my business. The first one is this land whispering, and when you were talking about Isaac French, and that we do a program like that with our clients. And then the next one is design magic. How big's the dream? What's the budget? How do we push those things together? And then the other one that actually rolls right through the whole project is called the emotional floor plan. And it's exactly what you just said. It's about
Mhm.
actually getting emotional transitions in each point. And what do those emotional transitions mean to you personally? And then how do we bring that into the design for you? How does the architecture or the interior or whatever respond to create that emotional journey? Like you said, like if it's going into a cave, or if it's going into a womb, or if it's something that you look out from and get vision. Cassidy, I know
I love that.
you've got a time limit as well, so I'm mindful of
I
that.
do, but emotional floor
Floor
plan.
plan. Yeah.
That's something I haven't heard, and I'm gonna take that with me. So I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I'm more than happy to jump on sometime and just have a chat to you and tell you how we work with how I do it, because it's coaching. Um, and also what we do like around that I was telling Zeke around what we do with the with a land whispering, and he goes, "I don't know that I've got it quite right, but I'm using it." And
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
he's
It
like,
sounds good.
"Yeah,
It
yeah," but
sounds
it
good. Yeah.
also very much is an energetic feel, and so there's different levels to it. So there's what are the regulations? What are we being told? You know, just like you said, you're trying to get a permit, trying to get these things. What are those boundaries? Then what is the land actually doing? Where does it look? How does it be positioned? And then there's how does it energetically feel? You know, is there geopathic stress lines under it? What does it feel like? What does it emotionally feel like? And I use a thing with turning on your alpha brainwaves to actually feel the energy in the land. If you look up the silver method, which is a very uh, well, been around since the Second World War, but Jose Silva created this method of switching on your alpha brainwaves, and being able to do that, you operating in your flow state. But whilst we're still operating in beta brainwaves right now, what we can do is switch on alpha and have it running in the background for our benefit and bringing it to the foreground.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, but I've got a whole bunch of that stuff that we'll jump on another time, not necessarily as a podcast, but I'll share with you, just some things around that might be really useful. Yeah.
Love that. Yeah, yeah. Send them my way. And if any of your listeners want to message or reach out to me, they can DM me. I'm on Instagram. That's the best way to get a hold of me. And
Yeah.
it's
We'll put
at
all
Cass.
that. We'll put all that on the bottom of our thing. But yeah, go tell people how to find you. And also, what are the programs? How can they interact with you? What is the communities that you are operating within? Because I think there's
Yeah.
such amount of value.
Yeah, so my Instagram is at Kassidy.Warren. That's Cassidy with a K. Like I said, that's the best place to get a hold of me. You can DM me. My community, it's called Escape Velocity. I teach all about buying the right type of real estate so you create the most amount of value, not just cash flow, most amount
Hmm.
of value, tax benefits, and forced appreciation so that you can quit your job, or it just creates a platform of financial independence, financial freedom for you. And I don't let people buy bad deals. I will make sure that I kill your deal if it's a bad deal, and that you're only buying deals that will make you money. But we also, all this future self stuff that I was talking about,
Yeah.
that all of that is within the community. And so you can DM me Escape if that's something that you're interested in. It's called Escape Velocity. And that's something that I'm really passionate about. I want to create a million people that are financially free and living their truest purpose. So that's what I'm all about.
That's
so
beautiful.
Instagram at Kassidy.Warren and DM me Escape if you're interested in joining the community.
And don't forget to go and listen to For Your Own Good.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
For Your Own Good is my podcast.
Yeah,
yep.
That will be For Your Own Good.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. You need to hear this.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time. I so appreciate it. I'm looking forward to many more conversations and coming on that journey of seeing what you do with the hotel. I'm following Zeke's like crazy out there at Red Rocks. And if Radical Hospitality is Zeke's podcast, really, really cool. And what he's doing at Red Rocks, where you can go and listen to all your different concerts and stuff. He's building the only hotel in the town. So again, it's this destination. It's build it, they will come, and build the dream.
That's right.
Man,
that's right.
Appreciate you.
All right, Adrian. Yeah, appreciate you, dude. Thank you so much.
Cheers, buddy. Bye.
All right.
Thank you for tuning into our conversation. I hope it left you both informed and inspired. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen. And please don't hesitate to share your design thoughts with me. It's always a joy to hear from you. If you're like me and crave a deeper dive into design thinking, coupled with a love for travel and adventure, consider one of my architectural adventures. Join me and some of my wonderful design friends and embark on a journey of a lifetime. Apply for an unforgettable design experience at adrianramsey.com. With our clients spanning the globe, I firmly believe behind every great project are great people. If you're a great person and seeking to turn your dream into a reality, I'd be honored to design your home with you. Why not join the ranks of our exceptional clients and let's make your heart sing? Reach out to me at studio@ardesignhouse.com. That's studio@ardesignhouse.com, and let's get a conversation going and make your heart sing.